October 2020, we made history at the Southmorton Boxing Club by staging the world's first behind-closed-doors white-collar boxing show. We got over 10,000 views on the night across 103 countries. Now we're bringing the live rumble back, bigger and better than before. Follow the fighters in the build-up and vote on the night for your favourites. See all the thrills, spills and skills from the best in white-collar boxing, live and free at the KO Cup. Hey, Ebanie, great to talk to you again.
Hey, how you doing?
Now, it was, obviously, the last time we spoke, it was all guns blazing. You were going for that WBA title against Rachel Ball on that Eddie Hearn show. It was looking fantastic. And then injury struck like 10 days out from the fight. Talk us through that a little bit.
Oh, man, yeah. How heartbreaking was that? Look, I mean, it was just one of those kind of freak accidents, really. I was training, everything was going great. Like, I mean, I was feeling sharp. I was like just smashing my sparring. I was so confident, and I was just doing sprints in the field, and I just yes, I literally, my legs buckled and I went ass over head kind of, and smashed on my elbow, smashed my shoulder, like everything. So it was just a really kind of freak accident. Yeah, and I tried to get in the gym and do some work with it, and that was it. It was just like, no, it's not going to happen. And yeah, it ended up being pretty bad. Yeah. And yeah, just really, really unfortunate. You know, I'm sure it could have probably been accumulation from, you know, obviously training hard and everything, and it was just a bit weak, but really it was just that impact of, yeah, falling over my little feet.
So back there obviously took you out of that title fight, you know, which Rachel Ball won. But you're coming back into the picture next year very much. I mean, you know, we're hoping for a strong year next year, and you're talking about coming to sort of kind of relaunch in a way and get that title fight all lined up. It seems like, you know, we're very, very keen, or Eddie's very, very keen to have you over here and see you in the ring with the leading British names. Yeah,
definitely. Well, it seems like he's interested. You know, I've had some talks with him. You know, him and Matchroom, and it's definitely, it wasn't just like, oh, you've had an injury and then that's it, forget about Ebanie. I think, you know, he was really excited to get me over there. I'm sure, you know, as you know, the fans are really excited to get me over there. So that's still that like hype and that interest to get me there. And yeah, I mean, you know, now with his injury, it's just set me back again. Like, I haven't fought since February. So, you know, with my team, we've had a chat, and we think that, you know, if we would have a fight, like, if we could get the Ball fight straight away, I mean, and like first back, okay. But if they're going to have a fight first, then, you know, I need to get a fight out. You know, I'm 4-0. I've had over a year off. I'm coming back from injury. I think the smartest thing for me to do would be come in and have a chin-up fight. You know, check and make sure that, you know, obviously it's good. I'd definitely be interested or have an option of coming to the UK to do that. You know, if Eddie will have me or get me over there, then that's definitely an option. To start, you know, getting my face over in UK, you know, settle there. I'm happy to do that. Like, I'll go wherever I need to go. And I just feel like if I'm there amongst it all, you know, it just helps with the bigger picture, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it all depends, but that's just definitely where my mind's going and what I think. So I'll be over there in the first quarter, no matter what.
Now, this brings me to something I wanted to pick your brains about today.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you. Obviously, when you come over, you're a prize fighter. You will get paid for fighting. This is how you earn your money. You will get paid a lot less than men, arguably in similar positions in boxing. So that's what I kind of wanted to talk to you about. Where do we stand with women's boxing and the level of pay? Now, as you know, probably know, Eddie's had a little bit of a spat about this recently, even though, you know, he's been seen as a bit of a pioneer, and I'm sure you look on him in boxing, really bringing women's boxing to the fore, obviously doing a great job, we could say, with Katie Taylor's career. But, you know, but the argument has been made that, you know, women boxers are still receiving considerably less than the men. Now, Eddie put across the commercial argument. Eddie was explained, listen, I want to promote these women. I want to sell, but if they don't sell the tickets at the moment, which they don't, comparable to men, then, and they're not putting the bums on seats, I can't pay the same.
Yeah, exactly.
But, okay, so I'm already getting your position on here, but let me put then the counter argument to you. So, you know, we've had the Equal Pay Act in this country since the 1970s. In 1973, 40 years ago now, Billie Jean King in America said, look, this is not fair, women getting unequal money for Grand Slams. So they equalised the money in the American, now all Grand Slams.
So what's that, sorry? In a tennis?
In tennis, in all
tennis.
the winner of the Grand Slam and the equal pay is across the Grand Slam. So the women get equal money to the men. Nobody says, look, these women do fewer sets. They're not putting as many bums on seats. The people are really interested in the men. They say, look, we're just going to make it equal. Another argument is when you've got a talent like Katie Taylor or Clarissa Shields, coming through, who've been stellar in the amateurs, stellar in the pros, all these things. If you can't generate the interest to pay these women almost on par with the men or on par with the men, then maybe you're not doing your job as a promoter. So put it back at the feet of the women and say, listen, you're not selling the tickets, you're not getting the money. Should the promoter not be saying, look, this is an amazing opportunity. This is a trailblazing, once in a generation talent I've got here. I can make this talent shine and I can make this talent earn the same as the men. Is that not really the promoter's job? I mean, I'm just trying to put the counter argument.
Yeah.
I've already seen you kind of come down on the side of Eddie, understandably the commercial argument, which is very strong. But do you think there's there's legs in that? Do you think there's the promoter should be saying women should be paid the same as the men? And if you do that, you'll create similar interest. Because one of the things, Mayweather made his fortune by saying, I'm Money Mayweather. Everybody pays. I get paid more than any other athlete in the world to do my thing. Therefore, people watch. It's a bit of a, it's a bit of a chicken and egg. So.
Well, okay. So let me get into it then. So firstly, you got Mayweather. He doesn't. You don't get Sean Porter. You don't have Mikey Garcia. You don't have Errol Spence getting paid the same as Mayweather.
No.
No, because they don't generate the same interest. In Australia, not many people know who Errol Spence is, who Sean Porter is, or any of these top guys are if you're not really into boxing. Everyone knows who Mayweather is. Everyone knows who Manny Pacquiao is. That's why they get paid that money. So it's not only disparity in women and men. I mean, that's just like saying, look, I get it, but for me, I do think we get paid very low. I 100% agree on that. But it still comes down to the individual and selling the tickets themselves. I'm not like the bums on seats. No matter what, it's always going to be like that. I do believe that we need to be getting paid more, 100%. And I do believe that it is the promoter's job to promote us. And Eddie, I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn does that. He's been talking about Katie Taylor and hyping Katie Taylor up forever. I don't know how much she's getting paid, but I'm pretty sure she's getting paid a lot more than a lot of the men. You know what I mean?
There is inequality in the men's game, obviously, because that's the way it works. But we're talking about Katie Taylor, let's say, a stellar amateur, the real trailblazer game, unified world champion, incredible, great name recognition globally. For the biggest fight in women's boxing, which we talked about a few months ago against Delphine Persoon, she got 1.2 million euros, translated to about £900,000. So it's maybe. I definitely
think she could probably get paid more than that. But I don't think she should be. I just don't see how. Look, I'm a female, but I'm also very. I don't know facts. Like, I mean, how can you? This is bad because this topic's really hard for me because I'm not black and white, but I see the point of the business side of it, that it is boxing as a business, man. Like, how can you expect Eddie to pay all the girls $1 million, $2 million, $3 million when they're not selling pay-per-views? Like, I don't know how much pay-per-view Katie Taylor sold. Yeah, she had 200,000 views or whatever it was because it was free. It was free across YouTube. It was free across Facebook. It was free across everything. Of course, everyone's going to tune in when it's free. Will people pay for that? I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So
does that not come back to the promoter's job in a way? If you look at boxing, boxing.
Well, if you look at how Eddie Hearn promotes Katie Taylor, he pretty much that's how he promotes her. That is how he promotes her.
And how much he's done a fantastic job.
He promotes the women more than anyone. Like, I don't know. I mean, he could push it even more, but. What I'm seeing, especially over COVID, like he's promoting the women just as much as the men, just as much.
And Eddie Hearn has got Katie Taylor the biggest purse ever in women.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got that. But to put that counter argument, to play devil's advocate, if you look at MMA, where Clarissa Shields has now said, look, the sexism in boxing is intolerable to me. I'm going to go across to MMA. I'm going to transition. I'll get more money. But if you look at MMA, the female fighters are more established. Although we can say that Eddie's done a great job in boxing compared to other boxing promoters, it's the number one for promoting women's boxing. If you look at the fight in MMA, they're much more high-profile women. They're getting paid much more.
How much more? How much are the MMA girls getting paid? Millions.
I would say I don't know the exact figures on that. But
I don't know. Like, I mean,
we say has come through as the sort of banner, or Clarissa Shields as the real sort of leading women's fighters. There's a lot more and it's been for a lot longer, women's fights in MMA, you know, and they promote
so
themselves.
that's it. Like, I mean, this is a bad topic for me to talk about because, you know, I'm not the typical girl that's gonna like, you know, I'm not like, I see the business side. I see boxing as a business. Why do you think I promote myself the way I promote myself? Because it's bums on seats. You get paid for how much you sell. Like that's what it is. I mean, and that's what it is with the men as well. That's why, you know, not all the top 5 get paid exactly the same. That's why not all the number 1s get paid the same. That's why not everyone gets paid the same as Mayweather. You know, you go into the MMA, I'm pretty sure the MMA guys don't get paid the same as the boxing guys. They don't, like, because boxing is the rich man's sport. Like, so yeah, maybe they can afford to pay the women the same as the men.
More money in boxing, definitely, as at the top.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, the guys in MMA are getting paid $1 million a fight, so then maybe they can afford the women to get paid that as much as well, because they've established the female in MMA for a lot longer, because Dana White's been pushing it for a lot longer. We had people like, you know, obviously, what's her name? That girl, the blonde one. I don't follow MMA. What's that blonde girl's name that was like the MMA girl?
Oh, the one that wanted to fight Mayweather.
She does WWE now. Do you know who I'm talking about? You know, anyways, Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. That's the one. Sorry to the MMA fans watching, and I didn't know who Ronda Rousey was. But Ronda Rousey pretty much also started it for the women's boxing as well. Her getting big in MMA helped women's boxing. It did, just as much as Katie. Like, I mean, that helped because people were actually starting to see. I mean, okay. Also, I also look at it in this way, and this could be very wrong, but I look at it. Okay, look, I've had 4 fights. I've been boxing for 2 years. I'm fighting for a world title. Do I really deserve $3, $4, $5 million just because it's a world title fight? Maybe. Okay. Do I? Like, I mean, I've sacrificed 2 years of my life. I've had 4 fights. I'm from Australia, but I am fighting for an illegitimate world title fight. I'm, you know, ranked. So yeah, I should be getting paid $5 million because that's what the men get paid. But then you've got the guys that have been grinding out for 10, 15 years. They're 20-0 or 25 fights, 30 fights, and still haven't had a shot. You know what I mean? And they've sacrificed for 5, 6, 7 years. Like, that's the amount of money that goes into those fights and that sacrifice. Like, the pool is smaller for women. There's so many variables, and I look at it like that, and I do agree we get underpaid. Sorry. We do. Sorry, we do get paid.
That's brilliant.
Sorry, we do get underpaid. Definitely. Like, you know, I know girls. You know, I mean, I know a girl from here got paid $5 grand for a world title fight. Like, but then again, who is she? She's no one. No one knows. No one's going to tune in. No one's going to buy the tickets. So how can she expect to get paid millions? Where's the promoter going to come with that?
The counter argument to that is while you say women get paid less, women are not worth as much, women, you know, women can't put
like we do all the same stuff,
which is great. Is there not a counter argument that if someone steps up to the plate, if a promoter steps up to the plate, do you know what? Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields, I'm talking about the big names, or whoever it is, the flag bearer for women's boxing, is worth the same as men. I'm going to pay her $5 million for this title fight, you know, as I would pay this guy over here for this title fight.
Yeah.
So I try and pay them the same. All of a sudden you set a precedent. All of a sudden you generate more interest.
Yeah.
Suddenly that person is worth $5 million per fight because that's what they get paid. A bit like Mayweather was saying, this is what I'm worth. This is why I'm worth it. You know, and so all of a sudden you get more parity. But while you're constantly espousing this commercial argument, first and foremost, you almost make it a self-fulfilling prophecy, and women get paid less because of that. I mean, is that a valid argument? What do you think?
It's definitely valid. Definitely valid. And you know, like girls, like those girls, I mean, there's a reason they're getting paid more than all the other girls, because they sell more tickets because of who they are. And like I said, there is still a disparity. I still think that we get paid not enough. But to get expected to get paid the same as men, unless we're pulling exactly the same numbers, I mean, and we're doing all the same things with like the minutes, the rounds. How can we? I don't expect it, but I do expect that we get paid more. I definitely think, you know, we should be getting paid more. I 100% agree on that. I don't think
the argument that you've expounded very well, the commercial argument, which, you know, seems but if you apply that to tennis, then the women get paid much less.
Yes, but tennis, boxing isn't tennis. Boxing is an entertainment sport. It's not a sport that like Tennis Australia like fund, or like, you know, like countries fund. You know what I mean? It's.
But I don't. I'm not trying to say.
I don't know. It's like football.
I know that, but
like,
it's the same. It's the same. You know, it's a commercial.
Yeah,
sport.
definitely.
You get paid by putting buns on seats. You get sponsors. You get all that.
That's like you got.
Same arguments you apply, but they said no. We're not going to do this unequal pay. In 1973, they started saying it. We're not going to do this. We're going to pay them the same. So
you think that all the women should just go on strike until we start getting paid? Like, I don't know. Sorry, but
that's a commercial argument.
You know, maybe there should be more than just Eddie Hearn, who's advocating. We got Lou DiBella in America, who's been advocating women's boxing for a long time, but he doesn't have the money behind him. We've got Bob Arum, who doesn't give a rat's ass about women. We've got, you know, Oscar De La Hoya doing it to join the club. You know what I mean? Like, these people don't actually believe in women's boxing. And I do believe that this year with Eddie Hearn and the stuff that he's doing, people can whinge and moan and bitch, and all these Americans can cry about him and go off at him because he's offering whatever. But it's steps. It's a scaffold. You can't just go from here to here. It's not going to happen. You can't do that in a business. You can't do that with any. You can't go, okay, all of a sudden we're not promoting women's boxing, and now all of a sudden we are. So now all of a sudden we have to earn $5 million. It doesn't work like that. Like, it doesn't work like that. But I believe that if everyone jumps on board exactly like what Eddie Hearn is doing, then it's going to get there. But we can't expect it to happen now. And it's maybe next year, maybe in 5 years. I'm definitely thinking within 5 or 10 years, you know, exponentially, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just like we look at the history of everything with women, you know, the equality of pay in the workplace, the equality of rights, everything. It's happened over time. And unfortunately, sport is really behind. And it is going to happen. And I do believe that people like Eddie Hearn, who is putting three girls on TV, he's putting these three female fights, 2 female fights. He's putting these girls, the beginning girls, the debuters, the 4 fights, the 10 fights. He's putting on there, and he's talking about them just as much in interviews. He's talking about them. He's hyping them up. He is doing that, and he's been doing that this year. Maybe he's doing it because it's cheap and we have no crowds. And so, you know, it's obviously a lot cheaper to put on female fights right now because the purses aren't that big. Doesn't matter. The fact is it's starting the ball rolling. And if you can't see that and you can't understand that, then, and you're just being sour about it and still like complaining and you can't actually see the future. I don't know. Like, I see the future. I can see where it's headed, and it's only getting better. And all we need now is for everyone to jump on board. You know, we need your the big names like your Bob Arum, the PBC, you know, Oscar De La Hoya, even in Australia, not just putting a female fight on because they have to, because that's what it's like in Australia. Oh, you can't put a pay-per-view fight on unless there's a female card. It's in the contract. You need to have a female card. So I say, who can we get to fight? Like, what girl? Not like, yes, I believe in women's boxing. Let's go. Women's boxing is the best. Let's do it because I want to do it. It's because you have to do it. And that's the same as like America with Oscar De La Hoya and all that. Like, we better put a female card on because, like, you know, everyone's doing it. So we better join it because that's, you know, what's happening. That's what it's like. But I don't see these promoters truly believing in women's boxing like Eddie Hearn portrays he does. I think he does, but if he doesn't, he's doing a bloody good job at making everyone believe that he does, you know, and that's what everyone needs to do. They can't just like Dana White. He believed in it. You can't just pretend. You can't just do it to join the wagon. You actually got to really do it and believe in it. And it can't just be one promoter. It has to be all promoters. It has to be everyone. And the girls have to push themselves too. You know, like I don't care. Like, women, you need to self-promote. Like, I self-promote. Ryan Garcia self-promote. You know, a lot of the boxers self-promote, and that's how they make it. You think Ryan Garcia would be making the money he made if he didn't self-promote? Please, he wouldn't. He'd be like every other 10-0 that's maybe, you know, like in the club. Like, you know, it's a communal, or it's a combination of things. There's so many variables to it, you know. Like, look, I'm a math teacher, so I'm like, you know, this and this and this. So I just feel like it's not that easy that it's black and white. The one thing that I do agree on 100% is no matter what, you're still getting underpaid. We're still $20,000 for a world title fight, $30,000 for a world title fight. It's still underpaid. It's still underpaid no matter who you are, because the work you put in, the effort that you put in, the risk that you're putting in, it's still underpaid 100%. But this talk about it being equal, you can't have that because everyone's their own people. Like, you think Justin Bieber gets paid the same as the guy that plays in the pub down in the pub? You know, no, they're both musicians.
You know, a strange little headline that's come up to that. I mean, we're veering slightly off track between women and men, but
yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Talking about commercial arguments in boxing and what sells and talent and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Have you seen that Logan Paul is going to fight Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, and you know what the thing
is?
What's
Logan? That's a bizarre fight, but that's a money fight.
It is. Exactly.
The person that's going to get.
Exactly. unfortunately, these days, the new age, unfortunately, we're not in the 80s. Everyone has to forget about the 80s. We're in 2020. Unfortunately, we got to get with the times, and unfortunately, it's more business than anything. It's not going to change. If anything, it's going to get worse. So you better join it.
So
that's
you better
all I'm going
find
to say.
a YouTuber with millions and millions of viewers to fight, and then you'll get then you'll be getting paid more than the men.
Hey, they're going to get the views. You know what? And they're going to. You know what it's going to do? It's going to get more views on boxing. It's going to get more views on boxing. Maybe more fans on boxing. Maybe, and then eventually, it's all the process. You know, these guys are doing it because it makes money, but it also gets more fans that might not never watch boxing to actually watch it, and maybe see some undercards and see some real fighters and go, wow, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I've never watched boxing before. Like, or people are talking about it, or you might get more fans, and then you do that in the future, and it just builds and builds and builds because you're getting different eyes on it. I don't like the fight. I think it's stupid, but business wise, I'm a businesswoman. I understand in business, and I believe that's what it is. And promoters are business people. As much as you want to look out for everyone, it's every man for themselves. Like like it really is. I would like to see, you see people like Heather Hardy and Serrano and all the girls have been around for a long time, advocating for it 100%. And they can complain and go on about it as much as they want, but I don't know, like, it's I just don't think that I have to look at other avenues. You have to see where it's not just the women. It's exactly, okay, this fight, Logan Paul and Mayweather, is being made because it's a money fight. They're getting paid because it's going to get eyes on the sport.
So
that's the point.
Women's boxing, though. What about? So when are we going to see you in the ring in the UK? Because I think this is happening, isn't it? So we're talking about.
Call Eddie Hearn. I'm Eddie Hearn. Get on the phone to Eddie Hearn, and you ask him when he's going to get me over there. As soon as he gets me over there, I'm there. That's it. Like, I need a letter from Matchroom to get me over there. If he wants to get me over there, write out a little letter to Australia to get me to leave the country. I'll be there tomorrow. You know what I mean? So
be asking how much you'll get paid because you just want the opportunity to get to start.
Yeah, I still want money. I'm giving up time. I got to put out. You've got to understand. All fighters lose about 40% of their purse. Like, so when this is the thing with women, like, we're getting paid say $50,000 for a fight for a world title fight, but then you're really only getting 25 grand. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. And and I'll keep saying it. It's not that I'm not advocating that women need to get paid more or whatever. I think we definitely do. We're definitely getting underpaid. It's absolutely ridiculous. But like it is an individual thing. It's how much you're worth. You can't expect, if you're a salesman, you can't expect a guy that's selling $3 million houses a week to get the same commission as the guy that can't even sell one house in a month. You know what I mean? The guy that goes, do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to pay the same guy.
It's definitely a commercial argument too. Without
and that's how I see it.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. And that's why I treat my boxing like a business. And that's why I do interviews. That's why I get my face out there. That's why I do all of that kind of stuff, because I believe in that. Yeah, okay, maybe it would be better if you didn't, but the reality is it is. And I don't know, it might change in another 5 to 10 years. And the girls just got to keep putting on good performances, and we got to keep getting eyes in the sport. No matter how get some eyes in the sport. I don't know, bring some personality, bring whatever you do. If you have any interest outside of boxing, get those people into the boxing to watch. The more people we get on the sport, on women's boxing, the more we're going to get paid. Right. That's reality. Just like Logan Paul's getting paid a lot because of his YouTube thing. Like, it is. I'm not for it. I don't support it, but that's how I see it, and hopefully it changes. But right now, I don't see it happening super soon. But if you think of it over the last 5 years, from when Katie Taylor first started and when Carissa first started the pros to where they are now, they're getting the money has increased heaps, even for like the girls at my level or whatever. I mean, I think I'm getting paid more than anyone in Australia probably, so I think it's definitely come a long way. And maybe the people, the people that have been around for 10, 15 years are just really upset that it wasn't like that back then. Fighting for $3,000, $4,000 for a world title fight. Yeah, that would have sucked. And getting offered, 50 grand now is maybe not enough, but I don't know. It's a bad topic to talk to me about.
We should also finish off.
All the girls are going to hate me. all the girls are gonna hate me even more now. But you know what? Take a tip. If you want money, put your face out there. I don't know.
So we should
Don't
also,
complain.
we're not paid
Don't
for this
whinge.
interview.
Sorry.
We should also stress that you were not paid for this interview.
I was definitely not paid for this interview. But if you want to give me a tip, you can.
Yeah. Never stand up in a canoe.
You might not want to post it after. You might not want to post it after this. I'm going to get a hate. But no, seriously. I mean, I just think that
It's just an argument to go out there.
You know what?
That's what I wanted to get your opinion on.
I think I'm just showing all the sides of it. I think, you know, the fact that we need to, you know, there is men that aren't getting the same, you know, like I'm getting paid more than a lot of the men that have 4 fights in Australia, a lot more, you know what I mean? Like the guys, there's some guys that you don't even know about out back of Ghana that have had 10 fights that aren't getting paid this, you know, like and then you've got, like Logan Paul, who's just rolling it in because he's got a lot of people going to come watch. So,
yeah,
I don't know. You know, I do hope that it comes further. I do wish that all the promoters around the world jump on board because it's the promoters that are going to help us. It's you know, in the end, because they're the ones that really push us, you know, but if you want to get noticed by a promoter, you got to push yourself as well. You know what I mean? So then they want to push you. I think, you know, it's a group thing. It's a team effort of everyone. You can't just sit back and wait for someone else to do your job, you know. As a promoter, shouldn't wait for the girls to do it, and we shouldn't be waiting for just a promoter to promote us when we're not being signed by them. You know what I mean? Get noticed, get signed, and then, you know, then push it.
Great.
That's
Thanks,
it.
Ebanie.
That's right.
Well, we're going to see you in the UK soon.
Welcome to my TED Talk. We'll see you. I am praying. Hopefully, you know, hopefully the fans keep yelling my name out, tagging annoying Eddie, and he gets me over there ASAP.
Right. Thanks a lot, Ebanie.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.